Hey guys, so I did some thinking and I decided I'll do a how to draw video for you. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw my character, Speed Fury. You've probably already seen his face in my icon, in my YouTube icon. That's my character's face. So now I'm going to show you how to draw him. I'm going to give you the rest of his body and everything. Maybe later I'll show you how to draw a few other characters, and you can take whatever you want from this and draw the character if you want. I'd love to see what you have in store. So let's start. I'll just put this down here, and there we go. Okay. So first thing you want to do when you're drawing Speed Fury is well, I'm actually going to draw multiple different versions for you. But first, I'm going to draw his regular form with his regular clothes on, which is actually the stuff I usually wear. So we first start by drawing the left side of his head. We want to slant it inwards. Like here's like his forehead. We want to bring it down and like stop right there. This is where the cheek is going to come out. And I'll show you how this looks when I am right about to the part where. Okay, so that's basically the left side of his head right there. And I know this is already looking to be a bad video. You're just gonna have to bear with me for now. I haven't done this before, and I don't have like the stuff that to use to make it. So next you want to do like hit the bottom of his chin, but you don't want to like do the same thing I did over here. You want to sort of bring it more out, give it more of a horizontal look, but still keep it slanted. But then you want to stop right about there. So here's where things get a little bit harder. Now you want to actually draw his hair instead of doing the rest of his head. So he's got just like 3 spikes that sort of hang over his forehead. And that's pretty much his hair, and they're curved spikes. So just pick this up again. So that is pretty much like what his hair looks like. So after you do that, then let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay, yeah, that'll work. So then what you want to do is you actually come right here from the 3rd spike to the right, and you want to come down and do like a little circular thing just right there. And 1 second. There we go. Make the camera a little bit lighter for you to see easier. So now we put his like the little sides of his hair coming down. So you want to erase this little line right here, just so you know where that's going to be. So you take one line, bring it down like that, and then have it go to the outer area of his head. So kind of like that. Like that. Here, let me move the camera so you can see it better. What is going on with this thing? There we go. So that's what it looks like so far. So now you want to come from right here where you just like drew out, and come down until you go a little bit, just a little bit past his this part of his head, and then just slant it back up this way, and then draw just one straight or curved line, depending on what you like, up there, so it evens out with where you started that little part of his hair. So then you do the same with this side, but sort of like make it like it's sort of like a mirror. So kind of just like that. Let me just take this and show you. So that's pretty much the shape of his head, right there. So now what you want to do is you want to draw his nose, which you go about right here. You don't want to go directly in the middle. You want to go about a little bit to the left of this little point down here where his chin is. and just draw a little curved line, then do just a single line that kind of like slants towards his chin, but also like the middle of his face at the same time. So kind of like that. So there's his nose. So now we do his mouth. Actually, no, not his mouth. We want to do his mustache first. So his mustache is just a simple, just simple spike. Kind of like, more like a porcupine quill, just like that. You want to do that on both sides of his face. On both sides of his nose. Just make sure it sticks out a little bit from the line right there. Hold on a second. Okay, that's actually a lot better. Let me scoot this up. So now what you want to do... Oop, I didn't mean to do that. So now you take another one, sort of make it slant a little bit away from the other part of the mustache, drag it over here, and pretty much mirror the other quill if you can. And there's like his mustache. And for his mouth, usually Speed Fury isn't one to actually smile, kind of like me. So you can make him smile if you want. He can smile, but he only smiles when he's actually having fun, which is very rare. Same with me. And then you do his goatee, which is just another quill, but like horizontal instead of, vertical instead of horizontal. And you can erase this chin if you want, or because his hair is black, like mine, you don't have to erase that, and you can just like do this instead. And cover all that up, and it looks like the line wasn't even there in the first place. And then you just do the same with the mustache right here. Now, I don't know why I do this with the mustache and goatee instead of not with the hair, but this is kind of how I do it. I'll upload a second video for what colors to use when you're doing this character. So there's his mustache and goatee. Now for his eyes. So you want it to be just above the start of his nose, just like a regular person's eye would. Bring it over here, and you can see he's going to be kind of glaring at people a little bit. And then you want to take it and slant it inward to right about there. And that's where his that's kind of like where I kind of based his eyes kind of like off of Jesse and James from Team Rocket and Pokemon. And that's pretty much the shape of his eye that you want. You don't put a line right here. That stays open like that. And then you also have his eyebrows. Now, keep in mind, I'm not very good at drawing eyebrows yet, but his eyebrows come over his eyes kind of like this. Speed Fury is more of a serious person, so he's not really much of a joker a lot of the time. And then his eyes. So this is like the iris that I'm drawing. So this is like the left side of his iris, and then this is like the gleam in his eye to make it look like it, so that his eyes don't look like all dead. But his eyes aren't regular human eyes. They are instead reptilian. And then you want to take the other side and just do the same, and there's his one eye. And yeah, I do the same thing right here as I do with his mustache and goatee. But this is, I think, the only other time I do this. And then you try and mirror that over here. Now, this is the hard part, is like, because like his eyes, his like cheekbone is right here, so sometimes if I mess that up, I try to fix that by bringing this down a bit more so that his eyes kind of like line up with that, and then like just fix it right there, and then I just erase this part. So if that ever happens to you, then just do that. It's not going to be that hard. And then just do his eyebrows again, then draw his serpent-like eyes. And no, he's not half snake. He's actually not even reptilian at all. He's a descendant from a race of beings from the series I made called Omnigiants, and the Omnigiants have like this thing where they take on the appearance of a mythical creature that best describes their personality, that best describes their person, and his is a dragon. So now that we've got his head, let me just zoom out so you can see it better. So there's his head. Now let's get on to drawing the rest of his hair. And just keep in mind, this whole thing isn't, not the whole I can't get all of Speed Fury in the picture because this paper is really small. I can try and find a smaller one for the next one, but... So you want to take it up and slant. I don't know if you've seen Shadow the Hedgehog from Sonic the Hedgehog, but you want to kind of go along the lines of making his hair similar to Shadow the Hedgehog's hair. And then you just bring it back down like that. So right here is actually the hard part. So I put this line here for a reason, to know where to stop. So that line's actually one of his horns. He has horns, wings, and a tail to resemble the dragon parts. And then his horns kind of resemble a lightning bolt, because that's like his signature mark, is a lightning bolt. So that's pretty much what his horns look like. And I'll show you what to do on the other one, but right now you want to actually connect this part of the hair with his first strand of hair right there. And so you keep drawing this until right about there. You want it to connect with the horn. And then you don't want to have like his hair sticking out right here. That's going to make it look a bit weird. His hair kind of like sticks up a lot. So you want to go right about there. Don't go off the edge of the paper, because these spikes are a little bit smaller than his main spike on the top of his head. And then you drag this down until right about there, and then you draw the second spike, which sticks out a bit more than this one does. This one's also smaller too. So right about there, and that is pretty much what his spiky hair looks like. 1 second. There is another side. I haven't done that yet though. And also, his hair isn't all black. He's got golden streaks in it to resemble his, because he got golden abilities from his grandfather, the Golden Master. His name's Omnisade, by the way. I'll draw him later if you want me to. And then next we need to draw his horn, his other horn. Is his other horn? Yeah, it's a bit bigger than the other one. I know. That's kind of like just perspective if you think about it. So then you take right here, and then you drag this up. You want a bit more curve to this one, so that it actually looks like it's more of a side view. And right about there is where you want to stop. And then you do the same over here, but you once again want to curve up his other spike a bit more. And right, just like that. And now let me zoom out again, show you the rest of his head. And there is the rest of Speed Fury's head. Now we need to do the extra colors in his hair. So that would be his gold. So like we take one line right here, and we don't want to put it directly on this line, because we want it to have more of a unique look to it. So we stop right there, zigzag back up, and then go again to give it more of a lightning look to it. And no, I know his name is Speed Fury, but that's not his power, like, at all. He was given that name by his grandfather to throw people off of his real powers, which are actually the most overpowered thing you could ever hope for, which is called energy manipulation. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going to say, but Captain Marvel's got energy manipulation too. Yes, she does, but her power isn't as advanced as Speed Fury's is. Unlike Captain Marvel, Speed Fury can actually do more than just energy blasts with his abilities. For instance, he's able to actually create things and also erase things from existence. He's capable of pretty much anything physically or mentally possible. I made him this way because I wanted him to be a true overpowered character. Have so much power, but not go crazy with it. Like, Speed Fury's got enough power to destroy the Infinity Stones without even using the Infinity Stones in the first place. So this is his neck right here. So as you can see, he's got just like two simple lines, just like that. So now here comes the hard part, because instead of like drawing the rest of the body like a normal person would, I instead draw one line here and then one line here, but it goes a little bit more flat than the other one does. And it comes about to right here. So right here is where you want to take another line. Don't put it directly right here. You want to put it up here. And just do that. So that's his shirt. So this is his jacket I'm doing right now. So then you take this. Oh, there we go. And then you draw a little curve to about right there. And then you bring it back like that. So there's part of his hood. And then you do the same with the other one. Except this time, you stop right about there. You stick a line out right here. And then you come up here where the hood would connect. Come right here and do this. So there's the like his hood being down. And then you want to like put a little extra line right here to show that there's room behind his neck where the hood is. So then you take this out just a little bit more. So here's actually the hard part. You want to actually erase this part of the hood right here because something's going to stick out right there. And we'll get to that in a second. But first, let me just move the camera a little bit. You want to come right here. This is going to be like his chest. So you come down like this, but then you like come in as well. So like this is supposed to be his chest like sticking out because unlike me, Speed Fury's like, he's got like a six-pack. Because, you know, he's really strong. So then instead of like continuing on with this, you actually want to come up here to this part of the hood. This part of the hoodie. Or not the hoodie. He wears a Levi jacket like me. Drag it down. Just pull this down a bit more. To about right here. And then what you do is you take a line and go like that. Just a simple slant that goes down a little ways. So we're going to leave that right there for a second. Then we do the same with the other one and make it like sort of slant along with the other one. And then we do another slant, but this one's not going to be as long. So just right about like that. And then we just take a line, sort of like curve it so that it matches up with that. And there's like his chest area. Then we just take another line, put it right here, and there's the end of his shirt. So now we get to the sleeves. So what you want to do with this is just have the line come out a little bit more right up here. Let me drag that up here so you can see it better. Just bear with me, guys. I'm still new at this. So you want to drag this to about right there. Right about there. Hold on. There we go. So then you take a line and sort of make a curve right here. But so you want to stop like right about there. This curve is supposed to be like the color changing on his jacket because he wears a Levi jacket, but his sleeves and his hood are like fabric, other fabric, like just regular cotton. So now you want to kind of like change the angle a little bit so that well, actually, let's do something a little different with his hand there. Instead of having his hand like just sort of out there, let's have his hand going into his pocket on his jacket. So we just need to curve it in right about there. So there we go. So right about there is where you want it. So here's where you can actually start going with the jacket again. So you just bring this up until it's right about there. Then you take his pocket, sort of, and just put it right there. And if you want, you can like put a little detail on that pocket to make it look like his hand's actually in there. And then you take the sleeve. You don't want to put the sleeve like all in there. You just want to have some of the sleeve still visible, and then just stick his hand right there, so you can see like his hand's like going in there. And I know what some of you are about to say. Some of you that are actually, well, familiar with it. You're about to say, Speed is Sans. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Speed Fury is not Sans. So right about there is where you want to stop with the arm. And then you want to just drag it back up until right about there and finish the curve. And then you go right here, sort of have the jacket go in like that, and then go right here and connect it just like that. And there's his jacket finished up. And so like I said, he wears like the similar clothes to me. So you just can put the other pocket over here if you want, and then like put two pockets up here because I have two pockets right there on my jacket as well. And now we do the same over here, but instead of like doing like the same thing over here, just like how his chest is kind of sticking out right here. So let me move this up here a little bit so you'll be able to see that better. So I'm actually going to have Speed Fury hold one of his weapons in his other hand. Oh, I don't know what just happened there. There we go. So now we take right about here, have that come out a little bit, but not the same as the other one. And then you just simply come down. So his arm's going to be like resting to his side, but he's going to be holding a weapon. So stop right about there, just right before you get past like where his chest sticks out. And then we bring it down, so you can see that. And then we come right here and do the same, kind of the similar thing that we did over here, but like inverted. So like it goes in and then out. Instead of where we went over here and we went out and then in. Okay, let me pull this back again. So now we take the sleeve, and instead of like, now we can actually see the whole sleeve. We just like cut it off right there. So this is where his hand's going to stick out of the sleeve, but we'll get to that in a second. Now I need to come up here and make the line right here so it like makes the extra color of his jacket. Now, here's where I draw his signature mark. Now, if you were watching my channel back when I first started making videos, which was about maybe 2 months ago, my icon was not actually Speed Fury's face, but instead was this symbol. So it's a simple, just one zigzag lightning bolt, and it's blue, and that's it. That's pretty much all it is, and it has a bit more curve to it than the icon for my logo did. The one I found was just like one that somebody drew or something, but the one I actually used for Speed Fury's got a bit more curve on it. So now we don't want to draw his hand yet because we got to do his pants first. So first things first, let me just back this up again because the pants are going to take a minute. Let me just focus the camera. There we go. So you actually want to start right here. You want it to be uneven, so you want like the middle to be like right about here. You draw a line, so this is going to be like the zipper for his pants. And then you just put a little line that way. And so we're actually going to start with his left leg and not his right leg first. That's how I always do it. And we drag this down to right about there, because he's going to have his legs a little bit spread apart. And then we do the same. Then we just come over here and sort of make the rest of his calf, and that's pretty much his calf. So then we take right here. This is going to be the pocket. So we just do a little curved line, and there it is right there, just kind of sticking out right there, the pocket of the pants. No, that is not a song. Don't turn that into a meme. Who am I kidding? You're probably going to do it anyway. So then we just do a line right here. This is supposed to be like where it's like sewn together, like where the pants is sewn, right about there. So now that this is right here, now we can actually come over here and do this. So we take this and keep this more along the lines of straight, but you can still have it curved. It's probably a good idea to have it curved to give his legs more of a realistic look. Although he is technically inspired by anime, so I highly doubt he's going to look that realistic. I mean, his eyes are huge, so... I mean, not as big as a specific character that I haven't drawn yet, but still. And then we come right about here, and we want to drag it up, put it on a bit of a slant to right about there, so it's just right there, like right in the middle of his calf. We want the line to meet right in the middle of his calf. And then we come right here and draw another crease for like where the pants were sewn together. Just like that. And so for this pocket, instead of like having it more shown, you just want to have like a simple line right about there. Just like that. And I don't do shading on my pictures. I'm not good at it. I will admit that. I'm not good at it. I'm good at drawing the character. I'm just not good at drawing the details. And now we're getting to his calves. And so for his right leg, you're actually going to want to put a curve up there if you want to have like a kneecap for him. But I think that looks a bit weird right now. So I'm just going to actually erase that. So let's bring that back. And just drag it like that. And you want to stop right about here. I'm not going to be able to get his feet on the thing. I'll be able to get a bit of his shoes. And his shoes are green, by the way. So then you want to do just a little curve to show that's the end of his pants. And so if you haven't seen my legs in any of my videos, because let's face it, you definitely haven't. I have ridiculously big legs, and I'm only like 5'4", so. Also, if you don't know, I am not in school anymore. I'm graduated. Yeah, I'm a full-grown man in the body of a 16-year-old boy. So, yeah, I have that going for me. You have no idea how many people have assumed that I'm a teenager who's skipping class at work when they come to lunch for the lunch rush. And then we do the same with this one, but instead of you want to have a little bit curve, and we want it to stop like that right there. We just want it to go a little bit inwards as you're going with the left foot. And we do a little curve right here, but we want it to have like more of a grounded look than this one does. And then we do a little curve right here. And so there's his other leg, and then we just bring the rest of the crease down like we did with the other one for the sewing line. So I usually have holes in my pants, but this guy doesn't. Like, Speed Fury doesn't. Like, he's supposed to be like this perfect person, but he's also not. Like, he's not like he's supposed to be a superhero, but unlike other people, he won't, he's not really into that whole showing off your powers or, like, being a good example for people. He just cares about doing what he needs to do. And even if he has to do something that he regrets doing in the future, that he knows that will upset people, he'll still do it. Like, he's not afraid to do something like that because he knows it has to be done. Even if he doesn't want to do it, he will do it. So we actually want this foot to sort of like stick out, kind of like he's like facing forward, because he kind of is. And then we just bring this down like this. And so his shoes are, I actually did a bit of a mixture of regular tennis shoes with a bit of Shadow the Hedgehog aesthetic for his roller skates. I mean his rocket skates. But I made him like regular shoes and not rocket skates at all. I will say this, they are inspired a little bit from that. And no, Speed Fury is not basically human Shadow. In fact, he's far from it. He's a lot nicer than he lets on. And well, one thing's for certain, he's not exactly what you would call a nice person in general. Oh wait, I think I made his sleeve too short. Let me look at that. Yeah, his sleeve is too short because like my hands do not stop right there. My arms do not stop right there, that's for sure. So let me erase that. Let me just bring the camera up here so you guys can see that better. So yeah, I erased his forearm. We need to make his upper arm a little bit longer. So right about like that. And then we drag it down. Pull this down so you can see that. And then we want to stop it right about there. Now his arm's not that short. And then we just do that again. Okay. So now, let's draw his hand clenched because he'll be holding something. As you probably know already, one of his weapons. So there's his thumb. And then we just put this out right here to show kind of like, well, I don't know. I just started doing that and it looks better. And then we take his fingers. So I've always actually had a hard time drawing fingers. I'm getting better at it, but I still have a hard time. So then you want to draw the fingers, especially when the fist is clenched. It's easier for me to do this when their fists aren't clenched, especially on the female characters. Don't judge me. Okay, so and then we just put a little line right there to show where his hand stops. So now we go right about here, and then cut this off right here. So this is his signature sword that he's holding. And now we just do this, pull this out right here, cut it off, and then do one in the opposite direction. So I can't get the whole sword in here, but his sword is really big. Like, he holds it with one hand, and it's here. I'll show you something in a second. Hold on a second. I actually need that to... Oh, I put it back in my room. I think I can figure out how to do it, though. So we take right about here, and we sort of go... Start from in, and then go out a little bit. Just like that. We do the same with the other one over here. And then we kind of like make it go in right there. So kind of like that. Let me just... There. So, and then have it go in, drag it over, and yes, that is supposed to be like that. And we just do this to the side. So here's the cool thing about his sword. I always like doing this with his weapon. So his weapon is like surging with the same kind of energy that he has inside him. So like there's one part of it, part of the glowing stuff that comes from his sword. So then we just do the same over here. And that's pretty much what his sword looks like. I can't get the whole thing in there. I'm sorry about that. Now, let's get to the part where I said that he would have something sticking out of his back right here. So this is going to be one of his wings. And yes, his wings are massive. All the characters have massive wings. I want that to be like the feature that sticks out on them the most. If I ever manage to get this this series to become an actual thing. If I do manage to get it to be a thing, I want it to be by Rooster Teeth. I want to get with Rooster Teeth and ask them to like make these guys a thing. If anyone can do it, I think they probably do it best, because I think they could see where I'd be coming from. Because these characters are not, by the way, these characters are not meant to be for kids, like at all. You'll see what I mean when I get to when I draw the main female protagonist, who is my character's girlfriend. Spoiler, I do not have a girlfriend in real life, and I don't want one in real life. I would rather have the 2D character that I created as a girlfriend than this one. I don't want to get into too much detail. So let me just drag this down a bit. This wing is going to be huge, like I said, so I can't get the whole wing in there either, so right about, so let me see. Okay, so basically you want to sort of have a curve right here to show like the dragon wing. Here, let me just, there, like, oh, you want a little curve right there. Then you want like another curve that kind of like comes out, but like kind of like just goes like that, you know? You just want it to curve sort of inwards, and then you want to do the same with this one, but you want to like start a new line and come up like that. And then you take one, then you start from up here, make a bigger line that curves out instead. And of course mine went off the page. It's not there. But you want to stop right there, and then you want to take another line up here. You don't want to connect. You don't want to connect anything, because that would make it look a little bit off. And then you want to take this and just pretty much make a large curve that comes all the way down, all the way to about right where his calf ends, right about to right there. And then you want to connect this part with this. But here's the tricky part. So you see how mine's kind of like skinnier than that part up there? Let me show you in a sec. It's right about there. So you see how that's kind of like skinnier? It's supposed to be like that. So you want, then right as you about get to right about here maybe, then you want to take it and curve it out. And then right about like that, and then just start the curve again. And so that's like supposed to be his wings kind of like folded inward. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit, make it easier. Yeah, there we go, zoomed out. And then we take another line right here. We want to line it up with this one right here, and then do the same. Drag it all the way up. You don't want it to connect to this. You actually want it to connect to the end right here. You want it to connect to about like right there. So let me zoom in a little bit for you. So you want it to be right about like that when you've got that there. So now we come over here to like where this little gap is between his elbow and, or his it's not technically an armpit, I guess like forearm pit.